is conveyed in every individual in the Trinity, making each of them God, equally God, but individually, three different individuals in themselves. Um, well, I'm just I'm bothered at the thought of that because on the analogy you gave on the three-headed dog, it seems to me that there's one dog, regardless of whatever faculties they share,
Right.
or whatever ways they individuate themselves.
Yes.
When it comes to the Trinity, we see three separate entities expressing themselves throughout history in the Old Testament. For example, where God creates the Elohim,
Yeah.
the plurality of God in the Old Testament. We can also see the expression of Jesus Christ himself
Sure.
coming to earth in the form of a man, in a real human person, exemplifying human qualities in the world, dying on the cross. And then we see the Holy Spirit on the day of his baptism descending upon him.
Okay, but now if I may interrupt, just as there is one dog, so the analogy is there is one God. Not that there's one person. There's one dog, there's one God. But there are three canine consciousnesses, Rover, Bowser, and Spike, and there are three distinct Trinitarian persons, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, who, as you say, are active in various different ways. So it does seem to me the analogy holds there. One dog, one God, three canine persons, three Trinitarian persons.
But it doesn't appear though that when you talk about the doggishness is contained within one body.
Yes, that's
But
right.
when it talk,
And the goddishness or the divine nature is exemplified by the Trinity alone, I would say. And that's why I said there's more than one way to be divine. The three persons do not each exemplify the God nature. Only the Trinity exemplifies the God nature. And the persons are divine in a different way than by exemplifying the God nature. Otherwise, you would have three gods. And we don't want to have that. Okay, somebody else? Jay?
This is kind of a related follow-up, but so I've seen the traditional diagram where they have the triangle and you have
Yes.
the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and you have is not on the
Yes.
lateral lines, and then they have God as kind of a circle in the center or a word in the center,
Yes.
and they often have is where the Father is God, the Son is,
Yeah.
and the Holy Spirit is. It seems like on this view, it would be more accurate to not have is, because we're saying that that God is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, but as a conjunction, right?
Yes, that's right, Jay. The is here is not an is of identity. It's like when we say Belshazzar is king. That's not an is of identity because there could be co-regents, and yet both of them are king. So when we say the Father is God, that shouldn't be understood as an identity statement insofar as we mean by God, the Godhead, the Trinity. The Father is not the Trinity. So that's a statement of the divinity of the Father, but not an identity statement, I think. All right, let me just conclude this section with this final paragraph. You notice that such a model does not feature, though it does not preclude, the derivation of one person from another, enshrined in the confession that the Son is begotten of the Father before all worlds, light of light, very God of very God, begotten, not made. God could simply exist eternally with his multiple cognitive faculties and capacities. This is, in our view, all for the better. For although creedally affirmed, the doctrine of the generation of the Son and the procession of the Spirit is a relic of Logos Christology, which finds virtually no warrant in the biblical text and introduces a subordinationism into the Godhead, which anyone who affirms the full deity of Christ ought to find very troubling. So the model doesn't feature that aspect of classical Trinitarian doctrine. If you want to add it, you can, but it's not featured in the model itself. Okay, well, that completes the section on the Trinity. Next time, then, we will